Yeah, so we're talking about me being on camera when you all start.
Yes,
Okay.
not him singing.
He can't. Y'all.
You all start.
Yes, not him singing.
He can't. Y'all.
Something's going on, babe. I got a lot of feedback.
Yeah, sounds like there might be a delay, but hopefully, well, that's good. We started early, so we can maybe get it
Yeah,
figured
I
out.
hear a lot of echo.
So do you close? You got two windows open?
Yeah, I hear a lot of echo.
See if you got another a Chrome tab open.
Yeah, I hear a lot of echo.
See if you got another a Chrome tab open.
Who, me?
Yeah. Look at how many tabs you got open up there and see if you got a couple of them.
Okay,
open.
where would they be at?
At the top of your screen. So like you see the red dot up there at the top?
Okay, where
Over to
would
the
they
top.
be at?
At the top of your screen. So like you see the red dot up there at the top?
Okay, where would
The very top. The very top, all the way up to the top.
I see event with a dot on it.
You see a red. So do you see another a blue swivel thing?
Event with a dot on it.
So do you see another a blue swivel thing?
Event with a dot on it.
So close all the tabs, but the one that you see the red dot on it. Blue swivel thing.
Event with a dot on it.
Close all the tabs, but the one that you see the red dot on it.
Okay. I don't know how. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to. I don't know what. I don't know how. Okay.
All righty, Robin. We're broadcasting live. I think he may have had the two tabs open there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We're live?
Yes, we are live. Welcome. Hello to the Pensacola network. And I'm gonna go ahead and talk for a little bit. I'm gonna go off camera so I can call him and get him back squared
Okay.
away.
Well, happy October, everybody. Thank y'all for joining us. We are excited that you're here, excited that we're all here. Somebody said today, just great to be vertical. We're still in this period of transition for our whole world, and so we are just grateful to be here and continue prayer and positive thinking to those who unfortunately continue to lose people during this pandemic. We just it's just a good time to be nice to each other, as we were just talking off camera about. And we're excited to be here for the October edition of the Pensacola Network. Grateful that you're here. We're grateful that hopefully in January we will be back in live and in person. It has been a year and a half, with the exception of July, our 8th anniversary celebration for the Pensacola Network, that we have been virtual. And so we are really grateful that we have this light at the end of the tunnel. And as they say, it's not a train. So we're really grateful that we're here. And so we want to say hello to people watching on Facebook Live. Thank you so much to Chris Hendricks and Bantucola for helping us to connect more. I think someone told us that they saw us on LinkedIn Live. I don't even know what that is, but it must be something. Linking up. And then one of our newest partners is Vernon and Mary Watson over at WBQP TV, channel 12, 12.1, 12.2, 12.3, 12.4, 12.5, 12.6, 12.7, 12.8. Woo! You got 8 channels. Vernon Watson and WBQP TV. We're excited that he is broadcasting our show now, and so it just puts us in these conversations in a broader context with a broader audience, and so we are so grateful. Hey, Vernon Watson. Hey, Sugar. That's my name. So thank you so much for doing that. And so Lloyd and I are really grateful for all of our media partners. Robert Hill with WBQP TV, 980 AM, Choice 106.9, the Pensacola News Journal, Channel 3, WEAR, TV3, Cat Country has been helping, Cumulus 106.1, Real Women Radio, and then, okay, Lord told me to use some time up. So let me just tell y'all about these folks who have these fantabulous email lists that help to connect us and who just keep sharing this information. So we are so grateful that they keep doing that. And so, so thank y'all. Thank all of y'all who help us continue to get the word out, especially again over since March of 2020. Thank you so much. So we are so grateful we're here, and happy Hispanic Heritage Month. We just came out of Hispanic Heritage Month and Asian Island Pacific month, and this month we are celebrating. We are highlighting Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and so all of those folks who are doing great things in the community to bring awareness to that condition, that disease. We just want to thank you, and to keep pushing and keep walking or driving or whatever you have to do to keep bringing awareness to breast cancer and Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So, okay, I think I got my men folk back here. Can I say men folk?
Yes.
Hello. How's it going?
I was about to sing. Thank God y'all came back.
We want to hear a note. I want to hear a note.
I'm gonna give you a note, but then you're gonna say, I need to hang the phone up. She ain't singing no notes. I know.
All right, you all go ahead, and I'm gonna let y'all get started there.
Okay. All right. You ready for us, babe?
Yes. Go right ahead.
Okay. I didn't hear a live action. Set, go. I'm just kidding. Sorry. So excited. Well, welcome everybody to the October show for the Pensacola Network show. Reverend Rankin, this is everybody in cyberspace, virtual reality clapping. They see you on here like that's all them clapping because you're on here.
I'm glad to be here. I really am glad to be here.
Thank you. Really excited and grateful that you're here. As I said, we have and I keep saying Reverend Bishop Leon Rankins. And it was in the front page in 2008 when our special guest, Reverend Rankins, was sentenced to 5 years in state prison with probation to follow. But for years before that, he was in the news as an actor, as a gospel recording artist, as a minister, and as a community activist. And so our conversation today is our fellow citizens living in the margins. And so maybe the question then becomes, what happens to our citizens, our fellow citizens, our neighbors, when they go from living in one place or one space to another? And how do they come back? Who helps them come back? And then how do we respond to that past? So I'm really excited to have Reverend Leon Rankins, founder and executive director of Another Chance Transitional Services. So here we go. 1, 2, 3.
You're too kind.
Welcome. Should I call you Reverend or Bishop or?
You can call me Leon. Leon is fine. I mean, I'm confident in my titles, but Leon is fine.
Leon is fine. Okay, I'm gonna call you Reverend Rankins then. Okay.
Okay.
So I was doing some archival search on you and some newspaper searches. And so for like 30 years, you and your siblings, your sisters have been in the society pages and being presented. Did you come out of the womb expecting that you were gonna,
I get that question a lot. Not really. It started with music. Music has always been a part of me. I think it started in the church. I love singing. And that just kind of opened so many other doors. My mother always taught us to the ability to communicate, not be afraid of an audience, open up. So through speeches in church growing up, that's where it all started for me. And then once I graduated from Escambia in 1989, I really didn't know what I was going to do. I started off at DeVry Institute of Technology in Decatur, Georgia, and I quickly realized computers were not for me. And this was in the early 90s. And then I went to Alabama State University, and that's where my theatrical gifts began. And then, of course, I transferred over to Troy State and finished my bachelor's degree. And so in that moment, I guess was really searching for myself inwardly and just introspectively looking for who I was, because
but you did this very, very, very publicly though. So I mean, there was this. So again, I mean, I'm looking and I did not go. It was, I think, almost 300 articles.
Absolutely.
And so to see you, especially so young. So here you are. I think the youngest I saw you was maybe 12 or 13. But even like at 15, you were in Los Angeles and being.
Oh, you did the research. Absolutely. I've had a really blessed
national organization. So here they are presenting you, and then the next year you're presenting the president. And so tell me about Top Teens. But this was highlighted very much so by Lady Bird Johnson, Lyndon Johnson's wife.
Top Teens of America is a national organization, a civic organization for youth. It transformed my life. I literally joined Top Teens on the local chapter at 13 years old. And I was promoted in area conferences, and then I ran for the national presidency of the organization in 1987 and won. I'm grateful.
Let me just highlight this because this is absolutely amazing. At 15 years
At
old.
15, absolutely. Absolutely. And I had the pleasure, of speaking with people, like Dorothy Height of the National Council of Negro Women, and Reverend Jesse Jackson of the Rainbow Coalition, and people of that caliber who taught me how to articulate in front of an audience, communicate, command that attention, convey your thoughts, and move on. And I'm forever grateful for those opportunities, because it helped shape me as a trailblazer at such a young age. I mean, I'm grateful for that opportunity.
That's absolutely amazing. And so, was there an environment? You talked about your mother, putting you up, but was there this environment that you will do this public service or volunteerism coming?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the late Dr. Ruby Gaynor, but she was a trailblazer in her own right in Pensacola. And so through her guidance and mentorship at that time, and other organizations, the fraternities, of course, Kappa Alpha Psi and Alpha, all those, during that period, young mentorship was vital. I mean, that we didn't have a choice. I mean, we had to do it. And so it was through her pushing me there into that organization and getting me on the national stage. She was able to open up doors, but I'll tell anybody, they can open up the doors and get you to the car, but you've got to drive it. And I was grateful that the Lord allowed me to be able in those moments. Those were some precious years, because as national president, I traveled all over the country representing the organization. So that was a real plus for me.
Wow. So and then I'll get off of it, because it just intrigued me to see someone so young, again, consistently. And so that's what we're talking about, is how, living up in the margins, but you were living straight out there, I mean, in the society pages. So then I saw it in an article, and they were talking about the Clinton versus Bush. I alluded that you were a community activist, but you mentioned that you were in college at the time, but that you were thinking about medical school. You wanted to be a doctor.
Actually, yes. Which I kick myself for not pursuing that sometime, but then I feel like I'm on the path that God had me. Ministry itself, Robin, was never on my radar. In fact, in high school, I really wanted to go into acting. That was really what I felt I wanted to do. But then the last year of college, I started really getting interested in politics, and it was during the election of President Clinton's first election that I just was mesmerized by, in awe of the convention, the Democrat National Convention, and that's where I became so just immersed in the local politics here. And at that time, Marie Young was running for county commissioner. I think she had been appointed for the seat, and then she, started running, and I just fell in love with that part of it. Grassroots politics, getting in the streets, meeting people, and nobody could do it like Marie Young, and so she's one of my sweethearts. I mean, I saw her literally; she could talk to anybody on their level. And so that just got me where I think enjoying politics and really that's my pastime even now. My wife always teases me. She's, oh my God, it's election time. People know that I'm in one of two places, either the church or in front of CNN, because I love politics.
So I did not meet. Let me go back a couple of because I did not meet. I never met Dr. Gaynor. But I had the pleasure, one of the nonprofits I work with, communities and schools. One of our first projects was at Ruby Gaynor High School with her. I think Gary Gaynor's her grandson or great grandson.
Right. Yes. Her grandson.
Yes, her grandson. So he had started had named that school, and then we took some students to Alabama State, Tuskegee, and Alabama State on a college tour. And I remember the band director. We met the band director. And so he mentioned two things. One, the Ruby Gaynor School, Alabama State. But then he also mentioned one of our church members, Lawrence Young. He was like, so do you know? Like
she was the reason I chose Alabama State University. I mean, she really was. And it was during that time that I mean, so much. I learned a whole lot during those years at ASU.
So then you were clearly on this path. I mean, in the news again, in the society pages, and your community activism, your political commentary was the paper, even as a college student. And then 2007 happened.
Yes.
So how do you see, and I'll let you explain what you want to explain, but how do you see a way forward, and you can add this into your answer, when most people would see it as, so this is when your conviction happens the following year, that you see as, that most would see as this kind of low point in life?
It was my lowest point in life. I had never anticipated anything like that. I think that for most people, even myself, I felt that there was a period there in my life, that was it. That was it. There would be no coming back. Even in my period of incarceration, wrestling with, where do I go from here? What's going to happen? And my faith, Robin, I can't put it any other way, is what got me through. Not only God had a bigger purpose for my life, but it has stretched me and enabled me to see life so much clearer. When I came home, literally in 2012, God gave me four letters, ACTS. And I'm like, what is ACTS? He says, another.
Before we go, so I want to pack, as what Reverend Powell always says, pack a 5-pound bag of sugar in a 1 cup or something. Like that. We're going to pack a lot in here because you have an event at 7:00, and I want to be cognizant of the time. So now at this point, you are a convicted felon.
Yes, sentenced to 5 years, 60 months in state prison. Yes.
In state prison, you have a record, and now you join. So going again, and I think this is important because people always think that's not fair. Sometimes we have this perspective of someone who has, it's this kind of thing that is ramping up, especially when you are going from being on the front pages or in the society pages to now to not the criminal pages, but on to this different thing. People are saying something different about you. Then so now you join, and I may have the number wrong, but from the sentencing project, what they said last year was 5 million Americans who do not have their civil rights, are not allowed to engage in democracy. You have to check the box about your past conventions, and you have to have your every movement accounted for. So let's talk about how then people respond to you after this happened. And I'll just say this again, so because people are going to go, what happened? What did he do? People don't know the backstory. So you were convicted of battery, lewd and lascivious battery, which was a felon, and then as you said, to 5 years in state prison. So you come out, and then how then do people start responding to you?
I think for the most part, for me personally, I've always been taught to stay focused in whatever situation it is, wherever you find yourself. I didn't really focus on how people received me, whether they received me or not. I was focused merely on my goals and what I had to do. I had made amends to society. I had fulfilled the purposes, filled my sentencing. So I was coming back, not with my head down or not looking for people's approval or validation, but rather focusing on what's my next. Because at the end of the day, there will be people who will receive you and there will be people who won't. And I'm okay with that. At my age now, there will be people who will say, you know what, forgiveness is part of redemption, and we're going to give him another chance. There are those who be like, no, under no circumstances do we want even Leon Rankins around. He has not, and I'm okay with that. But what I will say is I set my goals and I focus on every day of my life trying to be a better person, not just for myself, but for my family and for my community, through community service, through giving back. That is the only way I can do it.
I want you to talk on that journey, is because I know that wasn't a kind of, A to B or A to Z.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, it definitely was a process. And even now, I think daily it's a process. I don't think that you go into service without the understanding that everybody's not going to receive you, specifically when you have a past. Specifically when you've been to prison. Specifically, it's already hard enough when you don't, but when you do have a past, it's difficult. But I could not preach, Robin, if I didn't believe the word of God. I couldn't minister to people if I didn't believe in forgiveness for myself and redemption for myself. And so the first thing I had to do was ask the Lord, to guide me through this, navigate me through this. I have many friends and loved ones, people that were hurt. They were angry for whatever reason. When I came home, I could not focus on the negativity. I had to focus on the positive. And that's what keeps me grounded even now. If you fast forward now from that moment, from coming home, and I've grown since then, but it's been 9 years now. Fast forward to now, to see the blessings and to see the effectiveness of my organization. I always tell people, because there are times when people will attempt to put my past and shape it into acts with the objective of not supporting acts based on me being its executive director. And so what I often tell people is, the main people that are part of my organizations are the people that come through those doors every day. These are people who are hurting. These are people who are addicted. These are people who are convicted felons. They have charges from murder, lewd and lascivious, sexual battery, theft, whatever, you name it. These are men and women who have been broken and they have committed crimes. We don't discriminate based on crimes or based on what they do. And so for me, when they do come in, because I've been there and because I know the stigmatization that goes with it, because I know the resentment, I know the anger, and I also know the blessings, because I don't ever want to convey that it has been all bad, because it hasn't. God has graced me to be a spokesperson for convicted felons across the board. And I take that very, very seriously. I never want anybody to leave our organization offended or lost, but hopefully to be able to say, because I was there, because I went in that journey, I want to do what I can to help other men and women.
And that redemption is, so you brought up Acts, and I stopped you intentionally. But that redemption is a part of your name, Another Chance.
Yes, absolutely.
Helping people then to transition. So how then do you see that people respond as they are? And I'm not talking about people outside, I'm talking about the people who are coming for services, that they're responding with the same thing you talked about, the emotions, the sort of way forward, if you will. How are they?
I think we've been doing this now for since 2013, going into the 9th year. And so I've met hundreds of men and women who have convictions on the records, who fallen from grace, but who desire to be a contributing part of society again. And so we have to teach them to focus on the positive, but be realistic with the negative. And the way that you can be realistic with the negative is, don't come with expectations that everybody's going to be so touchy and feely and glad to see you home. That's not reality. When you violate, when you hurt society and you offend, there are repercussions. But I do believe that when there are repercussions, once you've paid your debt to society, you've paid your debt. And whether society turns the page with you or not, you must turn the page. That means if you're at a place where people are constantly saying this or constantly saying that against you or whatever, you prove them wrong. You prove them wrong. If they feel that you're going to always be in this cycle of recidivist behavior, you prove them wrong. Be the contrary opinion. If they say you'll never get a job, get the job. They say you'll never.
It's almost like and I know people talking about and I think there was a movement, and it may still be going on, this check the box or get rid of the box.
Ban the box, yes.
Ban the box. And so having to remove that box that's asked, are you a convicted felon, or do you have this record? And the follow-up, which we all did not like in school. If so, explain.
Right, absolutely. Because it contradicts.
So that box, that box, but it sounds like what you're talking about is not only that box, but other sort of figurative boxes that we may not see, or that they may not even encounter on this journey. That there may be other boxes that people that are not, so black and white, if you will.
Oh, definitely. And each person is different, Robin. I mean, specifically because you're dealing with the totality of that individual. And so there are underlying issues that are attributing factors to why individuals commit crime, and people don't, you can't just lump everybody into one thing to say, you're all wrong, you're all convicted, that's where it is. They're contributing factors. That doesn't give no excuse to committing the crime, but it does place an understanding of why crimes are committed, and why there are addictions, why there are behaviors, why is there the need for behavior modification, what happened, what went wrong. In my situation, if you're on a trajectory of positive and you're doing wonderful things, and you're community oriented, you're doing all these things, what happened, what changed, what was the turning point. And so those are just things that I think any reasonable person should want to know, and have an understanding, specifically when it comes to offenders and them with their attempts of trying to get back into society. Because the truth is, everyone is not going to recommit a crime. There are those who are lifetime offenders who will constantly be involved in recidivist behavior. But then there are many who it took one time, to say, I don't want to go back to prison. I don't want to do that anymore. I realize my error. I realize my mistake, and I want to do the right thing. And in doing so, I believe when you prove that you've done the best you can, that's all we can. In my situation, all I do is every day I wake up in the morning and I say, God, thank you for giving me another opportunity to prove to myself that I'm still valid and I still have a purpose, with the grace of God. It's with the
And
grace.
I think that's powerful too, that you have to, and I think it's powerful for all of us that we need to constantly reaffirm our gratefulness and our greatness. That we need to do that on a daily basis, because it's and I want to attribute this to Chief Alexander, a retired Chief of Police Alexander, and we were in a meeting and he talked about, these are the ones that we know about that
Right.
get caught, so that there
Right.
are, that we all do these acts that we don't get caught in, and that
Well,
puts us
and
in
I think it takes
or
that.
mental margin.
Absolutely. I think it's required to take an introspective look at yourself to see whatever you're dealing with. Everything is not criminal in nature, but some of us just struggle with emotions, thoughts. We just added mental health to our component for the ACTS organization because we were successful in getting men and women employment, getting them jobs. But if they're still struggling in their addictions and they're causing other issues, we can get them a job all day. But until you address those underlying issues, they'll be back, doing that behavior that caused them to get arrested originally. And so it's a whole lot that I think men and women who have come out of prison and society in general for that matter, but specifically those who have been incarcerated, deal with a whole lot of underlying factors. And I think that part of our organization has been successful in addressing those issues and trying to get the men and women to.
I know we're coming to a close on this time here, so
And I'm enjoying this interview.
I think I've sort of asked this of you in a couple of different ways, but I want
Yes.
to be I want to ask it to you directly. You were in this situation, and then you started this organization. So, I mean, you very well, again, and I think it's important to set the stage, where your life was. And again, when I look at, 30 years and you're in the society, I'm saying society pages. I think that's fair to say. And so, but you could have said, I'll just check the box and I'll go and I'll do, I'll be on my merry way,
Right.
So what made you start ACTS? What made you start another Chance Transitional Services instead of sort of going your merry,
right? And that is such a phenomenal question. And I'm so glad you asked that. Two things. First, the Lord, my relationship with God. It was a mandate, a calling to God, from God. Talked to me very, very clearly while I was incarcerated. You're going to start an organization that will address and help, very specifically that. Number two, I've never, ever, ever been the type of person to go under a rock and never be heard from again.
Well, not with a voice like yours either. Let me just say that.
Well, yeah. But service is
the voice. You're amazing.
You're so kind. I appreciate that. But service is the core of my being. Ministry is the core. It's the foundation of my life. That's all I've ever known. And so I've heard people say, how could he come home and just, resume and go back in ministry and do all these things? But when that's your passion and that is your calling, and I humbly say that I believe I am one of God's vessels to be used at a time like this, as a voice, not necessarily as a proponent for the crimes that are committed by the offender, but a proponent for them getting the opportunities that they can once they turn that page. And I want to make that very clear, because people feel that just because you are a reentry program, that you're condoning offenders and you're condoning what they're doing. That is not the truth at all. We don't condone criminal behavior at all. But what we do say is, once they have paid their debts to society and they have turned the page, we humbly ask that through legislation, through society, perspective, all those things, that you will give these men and women another shot at life. Those that are trying, that is.
It does appear, I'm going to sort of opine here a bit. It does appear that all of that, what I saw in the paper, the last, I guess 30 years, 10, 20 years
Yes.
before all of this happened, prepared you for your, prepared you for acts, prepared you
It really
for,
did.
yeah,
It
yeah.
really did. And I find myself um, reverting back 20 years ago, 30 years ago, to the things that I learned when I'm on the national stage with Pastor Jackson, or I'm speaking at the National Convention of the Negro Women, or I'm at the National Top Ladies of Distinction, or I'm speaking literally. I was the national prayer breakfast speaker for the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority in the National Convention. You know, when those doors opened and I walked through them, little did I know I would have to revert back to those opportunities to keep me sane, to keep me motivated, to keep me to say, you know what, you were there. You were there, quote unquote, in the upper echelons of society with many of the shapers of change and many of the powers that be. But God said to me, I want more for you. I want more for you. And I want you to have an experience not only with high society, but I want you to have experiences with those who have not been afforded the opportunity to walk through those doors. There are people on the lower socioeconomic status, Robin, that have never had those opportunities. I want you to be a part of that. And that's what he has done for me. And so literally now in 2021, I can say I've had the best of both worlds because I've experienced having that on that level. But I've also experienced now being a part of those who have not been afforded the opportunity as I have. And I'm grateful for that.
And I think that people will, when we say, and I said in the margins, and that, the margins may be, of course we saw the young man whose lawyer deemed him, what they call it, affluenza. So he was affluent. His parents gave him so much money without the accountability. So it's even that margin when you have this, so much that you don't understand the accountability. And of course,
absolutely,
not everyone has much.
Absolutely.
And I do want to point out that I think it's very important that people have, and it's what Lloyd and I talk about, and that we are very grateful for. People who are a resource around you. So whatever place you're in, whatever station that you're at, that you have these resources around you, to be able, so that when something happens, then
absolutely,
that you would have a path forward, a way forward with accountability, with that accountability. Yeah. And we've seen a lot of that with our neighbors, with our fellow citizens, these over this pandemic, how challenging it is when you don't feel like you have the resources around you.
Right, absolutely. And that is what I'm so grateful for. Acts has not only talked the talk, but we have the track to prove it. And I think that men and women coming out of incarceration, even those who've never been in incarceration but have a conviction on their record, can come here and find the resources and the information they need, to make a difference.
Yeah. This has been amazing. I still have like half a page of questions, but I do.
Oh my God! I wish I had the time. You got to get me back.
I have to say this because there's a comment on there that says, "Let him sing."
Oh my God! No. Listen, I'll tell you.
I've already said you record, and the last time I will say this because I think I've said this to you privately, so I definitely want to say it publicly that we were at. Talk about a foot soldier, James
Griffin.
James Griffin. Thank you. Foot soldier in he was an accountant, but a foot soldier in civil rights and social rights all around Pensacola. But you sang, and I had to get my recording, and I told you I don't know if this is legal, but I have to record this. It was
You're so kind. That is my passion. That is my life. I'll be releasing a national project in February, actually, of 2022. So you'll hear about that. But that's my passion. But in order for you to hear me sing, you have to either be in the event I have or come to my services. I can't sing today. I'm getting ready for a men's conference, but I cannot thank you enough for allowing me to share my story. I want to come back in the winter of next year and talk more. You can ask me the other questions that you had, and I'll be more than glad to do it.
Well, I'm gonna put my name in the hat first, our name for Pensacola Network in the hat first. When you release, please let us
I
know.
will. I definitely will.
Our privilege to,
and before I go, I just want to put a pin note for acts. We're at 1612 North Pace Boulevard. We're at a new location right in the Barnes Shopping Center. We need support. We need volunteers. We always can use donors to help us carry the message for our components that here, our major components here, the program. We have employment, behavior modification classes, mental health counseling, transportation. We do a lot. And so we have an open door policy. Come down and see what we're doing and help us out.
Yeah, we know we don't do shout outs on the program. So we shouting out, we don't do shout outs. We shouting out acts
Thank you so much.
We have posted it on the Facebook Live, his link there on Facebook, and his phone number and address as well.
Happy birthday to
Reverend Leon Rankins.
Thank you all so much. I'm getting ready to go to the men's conference. Have a wonderful night. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, great interview there.
we were pushing forward and did not know when he initially said yes. I think a month and a half or so ago, we weren't. I gave him the calendar and he wasn't looking at his calendar. And then when we firmed it up, he had the celebration and forgot to say happy birthday because that's part of this going into next week. So we just want to again thank him for his time there, and
yes.
and sorry about not letting him sing. I'll share. I see that's Dr. Winborn, Dr. Sandy. I'll share. I don't think he'll mind me. I'll share. Maybe we should have him and Dr. Winborn come on and sing.
Yeah. So you have some recording of him or something?
At James Griffin's service, I sure do. They had it at St. John Divine Baptist Church, I think about a month ago, and he sang. It was an amazing celebration of James's life and legacy, and to see, we know people from one viewpoint, but I should say, unfortunately, funerals or homegoing celebrations give us a chance to really kind of look around the circle. And it was really neat to see the impact that James had in so many people's life from his work in Chicago. One of his friends from Chicago came in and talked about the work that they did. So it was really cool to see the impact that he had. And Reverend Rankins was one of the singers there. He had a concert pianist there, the amazing choir, community choir, and again, Reverend Rankins was one of those who sang. There was a trumpet player from Texas, I believe it was. Yeah, his reach was pretty amazing. So that's where I last heard him sing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, and I guess you all said that Sandy was going to be emceeing his birthday program tomorrow.
Yeah, they're doing a men's conference, and so as you heard him say, talk about the donors and the donations. He's a nonprofit organizations, and like many of our amazing nonprofit organizations, I see Tia Robbins on here with Mr. Robbins' Neighborhood. So a lot of amazing organizations, nonprofit organizations who do great work in the around the county and in the 2-county area. Need support, and so that's why they do these programs. This is one of the ways to do programs so that they can help all of the services that you heard him talk about, the reentry programs. Yeah. Yeah. So that's part of it. So I feel like we're kind of flipping the script here. We're going. We just came right in with the interview because of his schedule. So
Yes.
yeah, I guess it's time for us not to do our shout outs with all our sponsors.
Yes.
I get that from Tom Joyner.
Yeah. So yeah, we're excited for our. Definitely want to give a shout out to Chris Hendricks, Bantucola, and his streaming company. Yeah, he's really doing a good job in the community, sharing a lot of the business activities that are going on in the community. So definitely give him a big shout out, and make sure you, if you own a business or know of a business, make sure it's in that Bantucola.com directory of Black businesses here in Pensacola. And we got the banner up for our founding sponsors. They've been supporting us for 8 years now, and we really appreciate their support. And so all the folks out there definitely realize that this event couldn't happen without the strong support of the community. And we also have some corporate sponsors that not listed there, but and some business and organizational sponsors. We have some partners like Truth for Youth. So over the years, we've been able to donate a lot of money to Truth for Youth. And DeVille Square, oh yeah. So yeah, I should mention. I guess we plan to start back our live events in January. Yes.
Yay. I'm doing the wave because I didn't do the wave at the UWF football game, which we'll talk about here in just a second. But I'm doing the wave because we're going to be back in January.
Yes. And so we have one more event this month, and I guess I'll double check, but it's probably going to be on the third Friday instead of the fourth Friday, since the fourth Friday is Thanksgiving.
That's right. We don't compete with Thanksgiving or Black Friday or shopping. That's right. We'll have some the great work. Speaking of nonprofits and the great work that a lot of our sororities and fraternities are doing, we'll be able to highlight them, and you'll hear from them during November. So November we call it our Give Back Month, and so I'm really excited to invite those folks on to share the great work that they're doing. Even during this pandemic, they continue to help people. So our sororities and fraternities. So let me talk about UWF because they won their. We're gonna give shout out to UWF because they won their homecoming game. In my head, they won their homecoming game. In my record book, they won. They didn't do the wave. That's why they lost on.
They played a good game, but the score didn't reflect.
That is such a good political answer. And they did play University of West Georgia, and the president there came from University of West Florida, Dr. Brendan Kelly and his wife, Dr. Tessa Kelly. They were both here. We got a chance to see and reconnect with them. That was pretty amazing. So lots of great folks, and give a shout out to Dr. LaSharon Wiley and Commissioner Lumen May. Or as soon as that says Lumen Mays, they give them an extra S. But lots of our good friends that we got a chance to see or know that were there. But I'm doing the wave because they didn't do the wave. I thought you did waves at football games. I have to ask Tia. They do waves at them professional football games.
Yeah, big crowded football games, SEC football games.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so I was saying, like, definitely looking forward to getting back here in the Video Square in January, and so so in December we don't hold an event in December. We take December off so everybody can celebrate the holidays with their families, and so so giving us a little break.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dr. Winborn says they can sing for us. So hold her to that. Yeah,
Mhm.
she's working on the biography of Al Martin, who we lost almost a year ago now. So it's going to be really exciting. We know his children's book. The children's book is able to come out with a children's book before his passing, and so it'll be exciting to see her work with the biography of this amazing pianist. So it's really, really exciting. Well, this is an amazing place to be on this side of it.
Yeah. So like, if in folks in the audience, if you have any things you want us to put out there, we'll be glad to do it, to do that. And we're just, excited, to try to be a service to the community and help people kind of move forward in their life and make the connections to good. So, people reach out to me quite a bit for connections, but the way you get the connections is you participate in the networking. That's how you get to meet these people, and so that's a key part of success in life is relationships. So we're excited to hold a community event where it's open to everyone to come in and make connections and network and also learn from our guests.
So I do want to highlight Reverend Powell sent this to me. He's going to have Truth for You presents Triple Treat Sunday, October 31st. So this will be before our next deal. So in honor of Halloween, 6 p.m. until he's going to have playing a movie, music, and grab and go bags. So he's what's that new word y'all been using this year? Pivoting. He's pivoting, free and open to the public. It's going to be at the Belmont Cultural Center, right at the corner of Belmont and De Villers there, 400 North Rue Street in the parking lot. So that's Truth for Youth, and that is Triple Treat Night. And he's going to have some dwarf chicken.
Okay.
Lord have mercy, ice cream, candy, and drink. So if you that's put that on your calendar, October. We'll put that. I think we posted it on the Pensacola Network page, but we can repost that. Sunday, October 31st, Halloween, 6 p.m. until. So it'll be a great, fun, and safe place to have that. And then there's also going to be the Wentworth Foundation is also doing the KKK Wentworth. I hate to say that after Halloween, but the Sunday after the KKK Wentworth, the healing service, the lamenting service, and so that's going to be at the park, and I think they're getting ready to come out with the press on that. So it will be a step in helping to bring the truth. Especially in terms of the racist past activities and how it leads to racist present in Pensacola, and so it's going to be a lamenting service, and so it's going to be a two-part. The first part will be at the Wahoo Stadium. And then the second part will be in conjunction with Gaston Street United Methodist Church, where unfortunately a lot of the KKK activities occurred. So look out for that, because I think it's really important to come in to hear things that happened, and then to see, as we were just talking with Reverend Rankins, a path forward when these things have happened and continue to happen. And so we're gonna. That's going to be in November.
Okay, fantastic. It's great to have some activities to kind of keep the conversation going, and and there are a couple of groups that are hosting events to try to encourage conversation, a dialogue about race, and yes, and so
Together Pensacola. Yeah.
Okay.
They're doing the with Together Pensacola, Juanita Scott sent an email, and we'll post that as well. This coming Sunday, as a matter of fact,
Yes.
from 3 to 4:30 p.m. and it's online. But it's a conversation about critical race theory, led by Dr. Rosalind Fisher, Roz Fisher, and Rick Outson is going to be her guest on that. And I think it's really important to have that conversation to, we used to say in the country, get some understanding before you say something. But
so on that event, I was a little confused. Are they going to do it like in the breakout rooms where you answer those questions, or?
I think this is something that I think this is a conversation. So I think this is going to be something a little bit different. And Dr. Fisher, Roz has some amazing history and backstory that she shares in her path and events that happened to her. She was a longtime staff and administrator, teacher, a professor out at University of West Florida. She may still be there. I'm not sure. She's retired. She has an amazing backstory, so it'll be interesting to hear her perspective from an academic, from a personal, coupled with Rick Outson, who is a white male, a Southern white male. So it'd be great to have that conversation and kind of see where the basis of it, and then where it leads, all based around critical race theory, and so and not to just get it from a news source, or this is what I think it is, or based on someone's political view, but really get into the theory. Because I say we entertain, we learn so many theories, and so don't be scared of something that has a basis in history, a basis in fact, and really how you can help to thanks babe, how you can help to get more understanding and to help to move not only this conversation but our country forward. But we got some healing to do, y'all. We got some healing to do.
Right, and so so that's got the so if you got any comments on the critical race theory and you want to share your comments on Sunday, that reach out to either Robin or I, and we'll get you the link to participate in that Zoom call.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have a series. It's a upcoming series of conversation. They started this last year after the Rodney about to say Rodney King, George Floyd murder, the murder of George Floyd. They started this conversation as a part of a national conversation called the Living Room Conversations. And so Juanita and a group of them got together, very diverse citizens got together to start this, and then it evolved into this association, Together Pensacola. And their tag is building our community. So it's having these conversations and not being afraid to share, but also not being afraid to listen to someone whose views are divergent from yours. That's just so important.
Yes. So that's really great. So that's fantastic. And there's another group called the Equity Project Alliance that's doing something similar. And I think they have an event coming up on Veterans Day, November 11th, in the evening. So, but that's an invitation only event. But if you want to participate in the community conversations to try to help people understand and have conversation between Black and white folks and understand some of the issues on each side, that's what these events are all about. And I commend the folks who are leading the effort on those things, so to have these conversations.
And I'm glad you said Veterans Day too. So as we wind down, we have just a few minutes left, but as we wind down, we're going to be gone before. I mean, we're not going to have another Pensacola Network before Veterans Day. So to all of those who have served, in whatever capacity, Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard, Civil Service. Thank you so much for doing this very public service. And sometimes, as Reverend Rankins just talked about, sometimes coming back and you're not whole, and getting that path forward. So thank you so much for your service, and we want to thank the Cuckoo Institute, our nonprofit. Lloyd and I are through the Cuckoo Institute are partners with the Gulf Coast Veteran Advocacy Council.
Yes.
Who does work Florida, Mississippi, and Alabama to make sure that veterans have access to resources and information, and they're the ones who spearhead locally the Veterans Day Parade. And so that's going to be on November 11th as well.
Yes, alrighty, fantastic. So yeah, let's everybody have an enjoyable and safe weekend, and get ready for Halloween, and definitely be safe out there trick-or-treating.
And just because we're virtual doesn't mean you can't go by and get your dwarf chicken. I'm just saying. That's a hint. That's a subtle hint, babe. Get your dwarf chicken. Come on down on the blocks of Belmont de Villiers, historic Belmont de Villiers. It's an amazing place. We are getting new neighbors in all the time, and those old neighbors like the dwarf, Niecy Lutley Jones over at the dwarf, and Byron Long and his family over at Blue Dot, JP, John Pierre, and Collier Merrill, and all the great folks. Chris, the manager over at Five Sisters Blues Cafe. Yeah, so come on down. And if you lucky, you'll get some of Reverend John Powell's Kool-Aid. That's all I'm gonna say, because I can't say crack Kool-Aid, can I? I can't say crack Kool-Aid on the air. I can't say that. It's good Kool-Aid, y'all. Let's just say it's addictive. I'm just saying.
Yes.
If you do nothing else, go buy triple treat night just to get you some of that Kool-Aid. Just say, I want some of that Kool-Aid, and wink your eye. His Kool-Aid is so good. I don't know what he put in it, but it's some good Kool-Aid, y'all. That's all I'm saying. It's addictive. It's some good Kool-Aid.
Yes. Yeah. So I guess we'll go ahead and wind down the event. At 7 tonight, so we can let everybody go enjoy it. Get ready to enjoy their weekend. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks for the folks out on Facebook for listening. And Sandy says, what's the date again?
For which one? For Triple Treat Night is October 31st. The following Sunday is the this coming Sunday is the one for Together Pensacola, that conversation for the addictive Kool-Aid. That's what I'm just saying. October 31st, go by Reverend John Powell's at 6 p.m. and get you some addictive Kool-Aid.
Well, he might have some out there on Sunday. They're having the what do you call it? The what do you call it? Like a garage sale out in the parking lot there. The punk.
Oh, the Punk House. Is it the Punk House garage sale in Shizuku? One of the restaurants that we lost. Daisy, the owners of that, continue to come back to the neighborhood. That's right. I'm glad.
Yeah, and that's Sunday, and it's going to be a whole bunch of people in the True for Youth parking lot across from Five Sisters. Yeah, so having
an open market, open air flea market, and that's a fundraiser. So yes, go get some of the Kool-Aid then.
Yes.
Pray about it on Monday. I'm just saying.
All righty. Okay, bye everyone. We'll see you next month.
Bye y'all. Thank you.
November.
Have a great month. Have a great night, and as Ellen always says, be kind to somebody.
All righty. Bye.
Bye.